Welcome to Weingut Gindorf and welcome to our second virtual tasting. Today we're going to taste the 2018 Maya Cuvée, and with us is Maya. Hey Maya, how are you?
Good.
I understand today is your birthday. How old are you?
9.
You're 9 years old. And I guess about 3 or 4 years ago, your family moved from the US to Germany to make wine. And how was that for you?
At first I didn't think it would go well, but when I understand the German words, it was going better.
It got better after you learned the German words.
Yes.
And how do you like the school in Germany?
Great.
Yeah? And have you made some friends?
Yes. With an ear and an English friend.
What do you think about having your own wine?
Great. Because, well, now I'm a star.
Now you're a star? That's really good. So what do you, besides your having your own wine, what are some things that you like to do?
Play games on the computer or draw.
Oh, you like to draw? Can you show us one of your drawings, Maya?
Yes.
And what's this a drawing of?
Never.
Jevel? Is that from a computer game?
Yes, another computer.
Another computer game. Have you tasted your own wine?
No, because kids can't have one.
Kids can't have wine. That is correct. Well, perfect. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for getting to know everybody. And now we can go and take a look at where this cuvée grows. The Maya Cuvée is made up of 3 different grape varietals. 85% Weißburgunder or Pinot Blanc, 10% Grauburgunder or Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, and 5% Riesling. Now here we are in the Weißburgunder vineyard. This area is called Maringer Klosterberg. That means the cloister mountain behind Maring. There's a cloister right down here. Now Weißburgunder as a varietal is very low in acid, but is very high in characteristics such as floral notes, very fruity kind of a wine, and that's going to give us, with the 85% that it's got in this particular wine, that's going to give us the main characteristics for this particular cuvée. However, we also need a couple of other factors to really make this wine something special. And right over here, not 5 meters away, we've got Riesling. So we've got about 5% Riesling in this particular blend. The Riesling, as a varietal, has a little bit more acid, a little bit more racy kind of a character, and just that little bit gives this wine that fresh feeling, that fresh finish to the Maya Cuvée that keeps us wanting to come back for more. Now you can see that these 2 varietals here are growing side by side, so the growing condition and the growing season, that terroir that we talked about last week, the earth, the wind, the sun, and the water are just about identical. The last component of the Maya Cuvée is Grauburgunder, what we also call Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio. And here we are in the Grauburgunder, just about 20 to 30 meters up the hill from the Weißburgunder and the Riesling. So again here, the terroir very, very similar. Now, Grauburgunder, also called gray Burgundy, is called that because when the grapes are ripe, they get this wonderful gray color to the skin, and that's how we know that the grapes are ripe for picking. As a varietal, Grauburgunder is a more robust, kind of a more powerful kind of a grape, and that gives this cuvée this wonderful feeling of fullness across the mid-palate that you feel when you taste the wine. Now let's go into the cellar and see how we assemble a cuvée. After the harvest, we bring all of the grapes back to the cellar here. The 2 Burgundy varietals, the Grauburgunder and the Weißburgunder, are on very similar timelines and typically are harvested at just about the same time. So we can co-ferment both of those varietals in a tank together. The Riesling, on the other hand, has a little bit longer timeline, takes a little bit longer to get ripe, and so for each one of our Riesling parcels, we create a finished wine in its own tank. Then one of the decisions that we have to make as a family during the winter is not only how much Riesling to cut into the Maya Cuvée, but also from which parcel, so that at the end of the process, we have a wine that reflects the growing season of that particular year. Now that we know how we assemble a cuvée, it's time to taste how the wine came out in 2018. Welcome back to the tasting room at Weingut Gindorf, and now we have the 2018 Maya Cuvée in front of us. So let's take a look at the color. What do you guys think about the color of this wine?
It's a light straw.
It's very clear and clean looking.
And I think towards the edges it gets a bit more golden for me. But definitely a light-bodied, kind of a clear wine.
Mm-hmm.
And on the nose, I'm definitely getting some quince and some apple notes. What are you getting off of it today, Matt?
Apple and some citrus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's some pineapple on there and maybe some pear.
There is some pineapple kind of running through the background, which isn't surprising. That's one of the things that Mosel wine is known for, is that tropical fruit, where your Rhine-based varietals are really more known for the hardcore citrus. But that pineapple has a nice sweetness on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the things you notice right away, this doesn't have nearly as much acidity as the Niederberg Helden that we talked
very,
about
very
last
light
week.
acidity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really goes down easily.
Maybe too easily, I don't know.
Maybe.
But definitely kind of a real mild wine. It's got definitely got some sweetness there, but it's got that full feeling across the middle of the tongue from the Grauburgunder that we talked about when we were outside. And just on the end, that little bit of raciness from the Riesling.
Right.
And we said this one's fine herb.
This one's fine herb, so the difference between Halbtrocken, which is half dry, and fine herb. Halbtrocken is actually regulated by the German government. There's a certain percentage of acid to residual sugar that has to be met. Fine herb is also an off-dry style, but there's no regulation, so the winemaker's a little bit more free to express themselves on that. So fine herb is an off-dry style of wine. You can definitely pick up that residual sugar on this one, which I think is part of the reason why it's so easy to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one's got 11.5% alcohol. So it's definitely on the higher end of what we might expect for a white wine, but keep in mind it was that warm summer of 2018,
Right.
so I think got really right. And it's a kind of a short finish, not a very complex wine, really kind of a party wine, which is why we thought to go with this, maybe a Manchego cheese, kind of a harder cheese without very much fat, so you don't need a lot of acid to cut through that fat. And the bruschetta, so the tomatoes are bringing their own acid to the party, and that kind of works well with the sweetness in the wine.
Yeah, I think it's perfect to be out on the patio or on the terrace having just a glass of wine. I don't think you need food with it, but these are great choices also.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry already just thinking about it. So I hope that's been an entertaining wine tasting for you. We'd love to hear what you think about the wine. Please leave that in the comments section below. Feel free to leave any questions for the upcoming episodes. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, bell button in YouTube to make sure that you're always up to date with the latest from Weingut Gindorf. And we've got the coming attractions coming up for next week.